Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September 29th edition of Trips and Traps from a blustery Belmont Park up here in our third-floor studios. Ernie Munich, I'm Richard Migliori, although we have been through so many different types of weather, I feel like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons here.
You ain't kidding. And today, particularly windy, but luckily we only have to deal with races we've already seen.
Well, no doubt, and I'm sure we'll be watching races for next week's show as well. But let's get right to it because we are a little chilly, and it's all green, all turf this week. Turf races lend themselves to trips. We're starting out on September 22nd, race 4, and we are looking at number 5, Tizzy Kitten, who breaks slowest of all out of the starting gate. And I think this led to her journey.
You know, Mike Maker, fabulous turf trainer that he is, really not known for with first-time 2-year-olds on turf, and already we can see there's a little bit of fighting going on between the baby and Jose Ortiz. But what's going to happen very soon, or in the next 20 seconds ago, is somewhat startling, and I want to see how you feel about it, and we'll take it from there.
Well, she got off slowly, and she's keen, and now the 8 horse is going to run up inside of her. That's Heavenly Strut, and he had just gotten her to settle. Now, when this horse runs up alongside of her, I think it kind of sets her off again. It gets her a little rank again, like all of a sudden she's got company. She grabs the bridle again, and she wants to run. And now she also has lost her cover. So now she gets to the outside, and we're going to see how much ground she makes up here in the middle. And for a young horse to make this kind of move, there's no possible way they can sustain it. And the fact that she was able to make up this much ground wide tells me she's got a lot of ability.
Yeah, that was basically my question for you, Migas. And right here we can see this is the switch has been pushed, and this move is certainly eye-catching, and it makes you wonder. I was wondering right here, can this possibly be sustained? Do you think that it is even a situation of a turn back necessary, or no, it's just a green horse who's needed the race, needed the foundation?
No, I think it's a green horse that needed the race, that didn't break well, so she was behind horses she probably should have been in front of already. Then she was keen, wanting to run off. She's trying to drift out a bit, and there's no way she could have sustained this move. I think with this race under her belt, she should break better, she should get better position, and her fitness level certainly should be a lot stronger. I think this is a horse you absolutely want to bet back. This was a trip, but a trip created by the horse, not necessarily the jockey. I just think Jose got tired of fighting with her. Very
interesting. And, you know, again, this Mike Maker is one of the true turf masters, and we'll see how he develops a 2-year-old. Again, not really his thing, but he's got something to work with here.
I really think so. I think this filly has ability, and it was an eye-catching move that was made around the turn.
No doubt.
Turn the page, September 23rd, race number 5. We are going to look at number 6, Double Cast. And I'm going to tell you right now, for full disclosure, and here is number 6, Double Cast, who broke a bit slowly. Don't like her tail carriage. Tells me that maybe she's a little bit weak behind. Maybe she'll get stronger. This is full disclosure, I needed her to be 3rd because I have the trifecta then.
Wow. Let me tell you, that's the biggest story you're going to get for this race. For someone like me, that's the real news. But we look at Double Cast here, who's a bit of a stunning entrant, that she's 40-1. You don't think of Leo O'Brien, first time on turf. Numbers aren't good at least at this point for a horse's career. And you can see that this horse is going to be hung out wide. And I do mean wide, Mig.
Well, I looked at her in the post parade. That's why I liked her. That's why I put her in my trifecta. That's the gem of watching horses on the track. You get an idea of, well, this horse could outrun their odds. I thought she was turf meant. Big mare. No fault of Mike Leslie's. Not the kind of horse you can cut corners with because she can't stop and start. So once he got her running, he had to lose the ground. It was unfortunate because she only got beat ahead for 3rd.
Isn't that something? And you're going to watch right now. And, again, this horse is kind of like a stealth bomber because there's also a Chad Brown firster who's going to move with her. And, she's very good, too, and she might actually be better. But you can see right now, look at where Double Cast is going. Now hung out 4 wide, 5 wide, maybe even 6 wide out there.
Here, and, we can see how much space between our 5 wide, I would say, and maybe even 6 wide as she stepped off the corner there. And she kept coming. This filly is interesting to me. I think she's going to always be a bit difficult to ride because she's built more like an 18-wheeler. She's not the kind that you're going to save ground with. And she, again, was steady through the lane, not a big turn of foot.
And keep in mind, Mig, that all of this movement from this first-time starter was done in a race without any pace. That is a big factor here. We're talking about 26 and then 51 and a half. I mean, there's just, what would she have had to be to win this race?
Well, no doubt. And I also think that double cast brakes better. Homeland Security, you want to keep an eye on, too, the way she finished.
Of course.
But, yeah, I absolutely think those are two to keep an eye on out of the race. Maybe you want Homeland Security.
Sure. You know, the thing is, though, Homeland Security is in this race was 7-1. The other one was almost 40-1. The other one was completely unexpected. Unfortunately, now it's not going to be 39-1 next time. And Chad is probably better, but certainly a horse to watch, filly to watch.
We'll hook him up in an exact.
Sounds good to me.
I got to recoup. I missed that try. It's still bugging me.
Brutal.
Let's move on. September 23rd, same day, race 8. We are looking at number 8, Queen of Castle, another horse that I thought really middle moved, a little bit different than I think the race we had just looked at with Tiz a Kitten. Interesting, the 9 horse here, Flatter Me Fabulous. Aggressively handled. Manny Franco goes to the lead. And we're going to keep an eye on where Queen of Castle is now. She's second last in the blue colors. She's only got the gray horse outrun. There's probably 8 to 10 lengths between her and the eventual winner at this point, wouldn't you say?
No doubt about it.
And Jose Ortiz is trying to do the right thing. He's saving ground. Now he realizes, I've got an empty lane here. Do I sit still and allow them to close off that lane, or do I allow her to start going forward to get that position? I think he made the choice to go forward and get that position. You're going to see it as we get closer to the turn, too. Just so everybody knows exactly where she is. Now, think, she's already made up between the leader, the eventual winner, and her about 3 lengths to this point,
sure.
Right? Now you're going to see he sees this room inside the 2. If I don't take this room now, I may not get it back. So now he goes. Now he's made up almost all of that distance between him and the leader, which originally was about 10 lengths. Now he's right in behind her. It took the starch out of any kind of closing kick she had.
Yeah, it was difficult for her to do her assignment given the scenario here. And, she's not a win machine. But she's on her best day. She has strung a couple of wins together, and she is, with her 2 wins in her career, she put them together when things worked out her way. And given the price she's going to be next time, and given that she'll probably likely have a better scenario, I think she's very live, Mick.
Well, and I just think if she catches more pace, because she doesn't want to be part of the pace, and he had a middle move with her, and again, it took the starch out of her. And Flatter Me Fabulous, to me, this race was a tale of 2 trips. Okay?
Definitely.
Flatter Me Fabulous goes right to the lead, gets to go 49-3, 113-1, schools out. Queen of Castle moves to get into the race, and that move to get into the race left her with no more move left.
I agree. This race was done in the first 5 jumps. As soon as Flatter Me Fabulous went, there was no serious pressure, no intention to go after. School was out.
Absolutely. Let's turn the page again. September 24th, race 7. We are looking at number 7, Shalako. Interesting trip for Shalako. Broke well. And I just wonder, and the blue colors here, it's not as discernible, but you could see, and I wanted to stop it there, number 7, because Jose Lezcano is looking for a place to get to the rail. And I like to say, I want my horses and riders to get the position going forward. Well, he kind of had to take back to get into the position going to the rail, and now he drops in. And I just thought he had a difficult time at several junctures after this.
Oh, there is no doubt. And this is one that a little bit stealthy in that the chart didn't really pick up on this, and the chart crawler does fantastic work here, so it's always a little bit more exciting when you get something by them, and it does not. It almost never happens. Here is Shalako is inside, and you see Jose Lezcano already's got some horse and is contemplating what to do inside there, and it's going to get a little bit worse as they move along, Mick.
Yeah, and again, you want to save ground in turf racing. I'll never fault a rider for saving ground. It backfired this time. He's exactly in the same location as the eventual winner, who's outside and circles the field. Under a rider, Gallardo, and right here are the 2 horses we're talking about. Shalako on the inside in the blue, and the eventual winner, Sadler's Joy, outside of him in the gold sleeves with the brown, I believe it is. And you're going to see coming up, this is where he has initial trouble, where Sadler's Joy starts going forward. He gets run into a blind switch. There's basically no place to go. He's going to try to get up inside the 4 horse here. And eventually that horse is going to get pushed back on top of him, and you're going to see it gets really, really tight here. Look, he's going to have to steady out. And again, look at the separation between the eventual winner right there. That's 2.5, 3 lengths.
That's it.
Now he's stuck behind a stopping horse in front of him, and he's got to wait. And it's hard to quantify how much of a hindrance that was and how much run it took out of him at that point.
No doubt about it. And you're going to watch him now. Now he swings that side. Look where he ends up. And he's still kind of lugging in. He's got run, and then he's going to keep coming. Now, this was first time for Chad Brown. Do you think he's going to get better? There's just absolutely no doubt. And given the stop, and you watch him run through the lane here, and there's no stick even at this point. The stick was put away long ago and closed that gap.
Speaking from personal experience as a rider, when you hit a trip like that and you're moving with the eventual winner and you look up and you see him get away and he got a smoother journey, albeit he lost some ground, but there's a time to lose ground, it almost disheartens you. It takes that motivation away from you. You're almost like, I missed my chance. I messed it up. And you don't ride with the same vigor that maybe you would if you had been in contention. This, to me, seemed like a discouraged horse and jockey at that point.
Right. And
this is a horse with a different trip I will look for next time.
I'm looking forward to Shalako running back. And, of course, it's very tough to get trips by the especially New Yorkers. But having said that, still a very fun horse to follow.
Last two we're going to look at, I might have a difference of opinion with you. We're going to kick it around. The show is trips and traps.
Oh, I bring the traps.
So
I can bring them traps too, baby.
September 25th, race 8, and we are looking at number 3, Flip Cup. Breaks okay, gets kind of squeezed a bit going into the first turn, just a bit. I mean, these are tough races to ride, the 1 1/8 on the inner turf, because you're breaking right to the turn. I think she did have a compromising trip. I have questions about where she belongs, though. Is she good enough to turn the tables on some of these?
Well, that is a very legitimate question. I will say this. She's got 23 starts. This was only her second try on turf. So that might mean there's some upside, at least in the turf category for her. And we're going to see as they move along, things are going to get rougher. So basically, Mig, at this point, I'm still not sure how much talent how much is there on turf. Maybe we'll find out more next time, but right now you're going to see things are going to get a little bit hectic. Or not hectic, but trickier with the Flip Cup.
Junior Alvarado's trying to do the right thing here, and you've got decisions that you're making quickly, split seconds. He's got the 2 horse, the eventual winner, 4-Star Crook, the favorite in front of him. In an ideal world, you just want to follow her. You don't want to overcommit to his inside. You definitely don't want to get outside of him. You got a horse outside of you anyway. You want to continue to follow. Here is Flip Cup. Here is your eventual winner. Once he basically winds up inside of her, it's sealed his fate.
Yeah,
he gets shut down pretty much.
Understood. And when I talk shut down, when you say shut down, I do mean shut down, because right now it becomes one long headache of what do I do, where do I go, let me out.
Well, and he's committed inside of 4-Star Crook at this point, where now if he had been in behind her, now maybe he could follow her wake. Basically, she'll be the fullback taking him through the line. See, now really no place to go. 4-Star Crook's not giving her any quarter. He's got horse. He finds the seam. Now basically the race is over for Flip Cup. I just don't get the feeling, and again, as steadied along again, I just don't believe she can beat 4-Star Crook.
Yeah, well, that is certainly an issue she's going to have to deal with. I would just like to give her the chance to have some clearance and be able to run her best race. But there's trap potential here for a filly who we have not seen do it on her turf.
Well, and again, I think this was a trip. But if she faces the same company, even though she had trouble, does she have enough run to turn the table?
That's a very legitimate
to Flip Cup it on them, so to speak.
Absolutely, and that is the very interesting question. Maybe there will be some class relief, but if she comes back with the same, maybe you want to think vertically and maybe deep ticket wise with her, or maybe even more than that, depending on whether you think it's a trip or a trap.
Well, there's going to be another chance for them to all meet up again come New York Showcase Day, and post positions will certainly play a role in it. And
price,
and we'll look at it then. And of course,
she's going to get over bet off that. I really think so.
You think so?
I
Yeah.
do. I think the trip lines and that really got a lot of attention from the chart.
Interesting.
A lot of people watching. I think there was going to be over bet. So that's a knock.
Well, this one was a gray area to me, Flip Cup, because I do think she had a trip. I just don't know where it goes from there. We're going to go September 25th, the very next race, race 9, Frosty and number 5, who this isn't great for me. She gets off poorly. All of her own doing, and this is why I think she's a trap. She was bad in the gate. She really acted up.
Yes.
Now she gets checked because she got off poorly, but she created that. She got off poorly because she was acting up in the gate. People need to understand when horses act up in the starting gate, their feet aren't set on the ground. So when the doors open, they had to take a split second to set their feet to jump. That's when you get left that half length. You get squeezed. Now she's keen. Now she winds up outside, but I also think she was getting out.
Yeah, and she was pulling and she was ranking. She was fighting Luis Saez on the backside. And this, as you said, there was trouble in the gate. She was very fractious in there as well. And if couple that with what you said about maybe trying to get out, and if people watch, well, we're going to get there. But right now, Mig, she is fighting end wide. And that when that starts going on, I'm thinking the jockey, the last thing he's thinking about is how am I going to win this race, right, at this point?
I honestly, he's probably kind of aggravated with this horse at this point. Now, and I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying that's just human nature. And I've been there. I've done it. I think she's getting out. He's caught wide. A horse like this kind of makes you look bad. Probably, even probably hurt his feet in the gate when she acted up, So, there's a lot of things going on here where this horse is just not being helpful. And you can see even her head's kind of cocked to the inside. To me, she's getting out. Here she is way outside. I don't think she's got the prettiest action. She's kind of almost runs a little bit flat-footed. And I think, again, here's a case. A rider's discouraged. She goes out of the screen here. You can see her. And she's still trying to drift out, and he's basically surrendered at this point.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that's interesting to me, Mig. Like, through the lane, there was intermittent urging, and the horse was not going to get fourth. There was no chance of even getting any piece of this. But it's interesting, if you take a chance, if anyone goes back and looks through the head-on of this race, again, there was some surrender there by Saez. He wasn't going to hit the board. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him.
Nothing.
She was difficult throughout.
Definitely. But if you even watch through the gallop, and this could be misleading sometimes, you see the horse was not that far off with the that second flight at the very end was not that far off, given all that fighting, whatever energy was expended, being rank or wide or trying to get out. Just an interesting situation here for a horse who might be a bigger price next time.
Okay, I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
Will you play her back?
Definitely yes. Just yes. And now.
Okay.
We're going to see what the type of, as always with any of these, where does she run back? How long will they go? What will the post be? But the answer is definitely yes.
I probably won't be looking for her, but I will take a little insanity insurance.
Well, insanity, with my horses, that's a very good idea. But you know what, Mick? There's a contract with me that usually runs 2 to 3 races with these trip horses.
Okay.
I'm not looking for an excuse. Maybe I am. But I give them 2-3 races.
All right, fair enough. Well, we've seen a lot of trips and traps horses not come back and win the next time, but usually the next time. So, yeah, you got to follow along, and, of course, we could always use your help. Trips and Traps at NYRAInc.com.